Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Miles, host of the SOS Shout Out Show. I apologize. I guess we're having some technical difficulties with the sound. Please forgive me. What I'll try and do is bring that clip back. I've actually been notified, if you will. Can you guys hear me now? Can't hear anything. Can you hear? Can you hear me now, Sultana? Rabina, can you hear anything? Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on, but what I'm gonna try and do is bring that clip back. So give me a opportunity to replay that for you. Of course, that was the greatest Muhammad Ali. Oh, the video didn't have any sound. Wow, I could hear it. So I don't know why I didn't have any sound. Maybe I'll try it again by the end of the show. Okay, thank you, Altaf. So I normally give the whole thing about if your first time coming here. That's not the way we do it. Normally we have sound, alhamdulillah. So forgive me, I queued that up. I listened to this clip from Muhammad Ali numerous times, and I don't know why it wasn't playing in this particular instance. Like I said, forgive me. We'll try and figure it out. I'll try and bring it back. It's a great clip. As Muhammad Ali starts talking about this whole idea of what life means, what death means, and everything that happens in between. And it's interesting because he talks about his life in retrospect. At this point in time, he's divorced. He talks about, you don't own these things. You don't own your children. And what's beautiful is it's a direct reflection. It's a direct reflection right out of the Quran. It is Sunnah. This is Muhammad Ali giving Sunnah. And I think sometimes we can get fascinated with the oratory skills and the physical gifts and begin to understand what an extraordinary life this man led and attempted to lead. Now, I say led, but what was really important what he attempted to lead. And before I get too far into it, brothers and sisters, I want to give a shout out to anybody who's coming on the show for the first time. Despite the sound, we normally have sound. You put that on your brother, Preacher Moss. What's more important is you made it to the show, and we appreciate you. We have a genuine appreciation for you coming on the show. Simple rules, enjoy yourself. You're welcome. Get in the comment section, get your shout out. If you have something you want to say, don't sit on it. This is not my platform. I'm just a host. This is your platform, just like everybody else. Get in that comment section and say what you got to say. Express yourself. Because we have stars in the building. Our stars in the building are the people who come on the show on the regular that make the show. See, sometimes you'll come on a show. You may do IG Live or something. See what's really cool is the people who are in the comment section. I talk to them, I know them, and it's really cool. It's a nice exchange. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to go back up to the top. Our sister Ree is not here. She's taking care of Auntie. So let's keep Sister Ree in our duas because it's very hard when you're caring for a loved one. That is one of the most difficult things that you can do. Why? Number one, because you just don't know what your loved one needs. And so you have to be so available. And even more important, your loved one has to be very, very available to you. So it's a very vulnerable situation. And it has to be measured with compassion and kindness and mercy. We take our parents to the doctors. We take our mothers and fathers to the doctors, our aunts to the doctors. And we don't understand what that effort is for them to get up and go to the doctor. We just want to get them there and get them home. But it's the care, it's the passion, it's the mercy. Because they're going through something physically. Half the time, probably most of the time, they don't even want to tell you. They don't want to tell you. You know why? Because the mother and the father don't want to worry you. They don't want you walking around with stress and anxiety. And sometimes they deal with things that they shouldn't be dealing with by themselves. So my shout out is, that mercy and compassion. Sister Ree, we thank you. We salute you for going out and going up to Michigan and trying to take care of Auntie. We have Sister Satana Whitfield, who is our consultant producer. I don't know what's going on with the sound, but I'm going to fix it, brothers and sisters. Trust me, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to fix it. You guys are going to be like, ooh, he fixed it. Sister Satana is a consultant producer, but she's also a budding talent, and we plan to put her in effect. I plan to put her in more in effect this year with shows, managing shows, manage the back end. When a person is ready, they're ready. So Sister Satana, You've been in the band long enough. It's time for you to take your solo. So you will be taking your solo. Sister Rabina, I'm sorry about the sound. Sister Rabina, Sister Rabina sends me stuff. I don't know if you guys know that. Sometimes she sends me stuff and it's very interesting. And I call her our official research department because she sends a lot of things that are conceptually very, very interesting. And you can have different and varying arguments about some of these things in different perspectives. We talked about the whole idea of transracial yesterday, and someone reached out to me about that. And I was trying to explain to them what it means because this person was a little bit younger, but I was trying to explain to them what it means if you understood when there was no transracial, there was racism. It wasn't trans, it was racism. And any of us who've had to deal with racism, I'm talking about going back to the 60s, 50s, 40s, it's a different vibe. You are a bit of an onlooker, if you will. You are, it's almost a voyeur type relationship when you start looking at people who don't understand what the society used to be back then. Like some of us are raising children who they don't know. They didn't know anything. They weren't born during 9/11. And so the things that they deal with in terms of Islam and people, disrespect the women or, to them, it has a certain type of normalcy to it. And some of them are like, this is crazy, but they don't even understand the craziness that preceded a lot of this stuff. Sister Aika, all the way from Indonesia, made dua for Indonesia. Everybody, please make dua for Indonesia. They had a series of earthquakes out there, and of course, they had that plane crash, horrific plane crash. Praying for the families out there. Thank you for coming on the show, Sister Aika. My main man, Altaf Rashid, all the way from Toronto, the TO, land of the Maple Leafs. Thank you for checking in, brother. We appreciate you as always. I got a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of friends, a lot of family out there in Toronto, man. It always tickles me that you come on the show. I'm waiting for one of my family members to come on the show for Toronto, but I ain't going to be waiting too long. All right, Mama Sana, thank you for letting me know you can hear me because my mom be like, speak clearly. I'm like, it's not that kind of sound, Mama Sana. But yes, yeah. And I'm going to talk about something. I really want everybody to weigh in today. Because I'm going to say a few things, not the controversial, nothing particularly new, but I'm going to ask all of you to kind of add a little nuance to it. When I say add a little nuance to it, I believe that knowledge is 360 degrees. Metaphorically, true knowledge is 360 degrees. One of my mentors says, you know what? The human beings probably use about 15 degrees out of a whole 360. So if you get to, I don't know, 45 degrees, you're so ahead of the game. And we're always in a situation where we're seeking knowledge and we're also looking to correct our knowledge. So I thought this title up, and I want to get to it here in just a moment. All right, I think that's everybody in the box. Oh, hey, there's Reed. I'm used to you. Get on here. We just talked about you and Auntie. I hope everybody's well. Reed usually is the first one in the queue, so that means I need to have faith and patience and wait till I get to all the way to everybody. Okay. What's going on for Big Sister Val? Okay, we're going to pray for Big Sister Valerie. I hope everything's okay. And Sultana is reminding me, a beautiful reminder, may Allah be pleased with Muhammad Ali on his birthday. Yeah. I know a lot of you probably are like me, possibly like me. Muhammad Ali was a figure in my youth. He was a figure in my youth. And like my formative years when I was younger. He was, when he was Cassius Clay, I didn't catch that Muhammad Ali. I caught him when I was older, and all I knew was from my grandmother, my parents, whenever Muhammad Ali fought, we rooted for Muhammad Ali. I mean, literally when he lost to Joe Frazier, I remember being emotional hearing that he lost. I remember my father was emotional that Muhammad Ali had lost. And I really couldn't figure that out for quite a number of years. And then I became Muslim, and I had the good pleasure of Not only meeting Muhammad Ali, but also having a great friendship with his oldest daughter, May Ali. And we've had a lot of talks about her father and what he did, and just private talks. And this is not said enough. This is not said enough. But I'm going to say this: as a comedian, we always talk about our role models. Richard Pryor, Dick Gregory, and there's a reason why I really like Dick Gregory. But we say we like Dick Gregory and Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby and da da da. Here's a secret that a lot of you guys don't know, and this is sort of like the They Were Comedy today. A lot of comedians, particularly black comedians, that I was coming up with, younger ones, we really patterned our bravado in comedy behind Muhammad Ali. Let me say that again. We patterned our bravado in comedy behind Muhammad Ali, which meant that we were comedians, but as black men, we definitely paid homage to black manhood. We paid homage to black manhood. We liked Muhammad Ali. One of Muhammad Ali's best friends was who? Dick Gregory. And Mr. Gregory used to say some things that it came into my mind actually yesterday, because he talked to me about Muhammad Ali in the years where he lost his boxing license, where he struggled. And he said the interesting thing with Muhammad Ali was, with all of those things, he treated his struggles like a fight. He treated his struggles like, I don't mean like a physical fight, but he treated his struggles with the fact that he understood nothing could be had that was positive if you were trying to start or begin or build on the foundation of chaos. So this idea, the absence of chaos, is something that Mr. Dick Gregory gave me, and we were talking about Muhammad Ali. It is the idea to have a particular type of focus that takes into account several things. Number one, clarity. Number two, personhood. When I say personhood, I mean people around you. Like, one of the things that's been really, really difficult with COVID is that we haven't had enough room to pivot. Things that happen to us happen for everybody. Like, if we were all out in the middle of a field having a picnic and it rained, we would all get wet. However, in the longer scope, we might all get wet, but all of us may not get colds. All of us may not get flu. Some of us will be able to change our clothes and keep going. And there was a mindset with Mr. Muhammad Ali. When he talked about Islam, his clearing out, if you will, of chaos began with service and worship. It began with service and worship. For the religious person, it always begins with service and worship. We've had 4 years that was bent on the fact that for anything to happen, normally negative, it began with chaos. And I point to that in terms of not having a political body that believes in anything that's bigger than itself. And I say to myself, what does the absence of chaos look like? Ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, what does the absence of chaos look like? What does the absence of realistic distraction look like? I wrote a piece called The Love of Silence for a paper one time. And the idea was that we don't value silence enough. And it also goes to the fact that, silence is the opposite of sound, not noise. Silence is the opposite of sound. Sound is natural. We hear birds. If you're quiet enough, you can hear the sun when it rises. I'm telling you, you can hear the sun, just biorhythms. But noise is something that is uninvited. It's not pleasant. It destroys and supersedes sounds, and definitely destroys and supersedes silence. And I would ask everybody, when we talk about chaos, are you talking about the chaos in you, or the chaos that's around you? The chaos in you or the chaos that's around you? Because there is a balance. And when I say there's a balance, I mean it like this. I, like everyone here, of course, we all have the ability to deal with a certain level of chaos. That, oh, you put that one up, sister. The Masonic motto is order from chaos. Yeah. Let me take a shout out too. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, little brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show. But in the modality of chaos, there are people who are blessed to work through chaos. And I believe the magic is they didn't create it. They didn't create it. The movers and shakers and the leaders of, see, the problem with Donald Trump, and I'll say this, and it's true, Donald Trump was not a leader of men. He was not a leader of men. We haven't had that in so long. If you walk through the door, I don't know if we know what it would look like. There are very few leaders of men. And I'm not saying religious leaders. I'm talking leaders of men that religious leaders follow. I think, I don't know if I get a big argument. I think Muhammad Ali was in that last class of large-scale personalities that led men. I believe the next one will probably be a female, but we're going to be waiting for a while because the world is what? Full of chaos. And even thinking further, I never ever felt good engaging chaos as a strategy. And at the same time, there's orientation when you are part of an oppressed population, part of an oppressed group. The interesting thing is you will spend your life trying to find absence in the space of chaos, changing them over, flipping them over. And it has so many aspects of trying to find absence of chaos. We're trying to move things around because we're a very connected society. One of the things that I was thinking as I watched the clip from Muhammad Ali was just this little fact. One of the things that was interesting with Muhammad Ali when he started bringing up he started talking, was the fact that he was speaking and nobody was looking down at their phones. There were no cell phones. There's no computers. There was no internet. There was no Wi-Fi. And you begin to watch the magic of a man talk to people, to their hearts, to their minds, to their logic. One of the things that everybody loves about Muhammad Ali, well, I guess darn near everybody, I'm going to say one of the things I always enjoyed about Muhammad Ali was this fact. The fact that he always made it a point, brothers and sisters, he made it a point to speak to your logic. He never made it a point to speak above your logic or above your intellect. And that's a rare thing. If you have I'm sure some of you have met Muhammad Ali. I got to meet Muhammad Ali, and I told you that story. But what I remember about Muhammad Ali was everyone he talked to, he made sure that person felt like they were above him. He wanted them to know, I'm here for you. I'm serving you. The idea that he would do card tricks and magic tricks to please children and make children. And when I look at him, like, do you know how many blessings this guy got just from playing card tricks and making things disappear? To bring a smile to a person's face, to, in some regards, move them away from whatever it is that was hurting their soul or occupying their spirit. That he was able to do it and was successful. And even through the violent sport of boxing, he still found a way to bring joy. So hold on here, everybody, because I know I messed up, and I'm gonna work it out. Because I believe, hey, because I believe I messed up.
God don't praise me because I beat your friend.
Okay. So, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to do a redo. Hold on, Sister Rabina. Let's see. Yeah. Well, Muhammad Ali was a man's man. You know, And I don't mean that's perfect. I mean, he was a man's man. He was a dude's dude. And we do miss that, Sister Rubina. We miss it tremendously. So let me throw this on again because I think it's worth our time. So if you cannot hear it, let me know right away because that means it's a problem with either YouTube or my computer. Or it's probably YouTube. Okay? So enjoy it. It's a short clip, and I'll wrap up afterwards. Enjoy.
God is watching me. God don't praise me because I beat Joe Frazier. God don't give nothing about Joe Frazier. God don't care nothing about England or America as far as your wealth is all his. He wants to know how do we treat each other? How do we help each other? So I'm gonna dedicate my life to using my name and popularity, helping charities, helping people, uniting people, bring people bumming each other because of religious beliefs. We need somebody in the world to help us make peace. So when I die, if there's a heaven, I want to see it. Because we live how long? 80 years? The odds are everybody in this room, some of you going to be dead 20 years from now. Some of you going to be dead 50 years from now. Some are going to be dead 30, some are going to be dead 60, 70 years from now. We all going to die soon. And if you live to be, say, 125 years old, which we don't do, right? Let's say we live to be 250, and you can have sex for 145 of those years. You're going to come to the end after that. So we don't have it about 80 years on earth. This is a test to see where will we spend our life in heaven and hell. This is not the life now. Your real self is inside you. Your body gets old. Some of you go to look at the fridge, you don't have no teeth. Your hair is leaving you. Your bodies get tired. But your soul and your spirit never die. That's going to live forever. So your body is just housing your soul and spirit. So God is testing us on how we treat each other, how we live, to see where our real home be in heaven. So this physical stuff don't last for so long. So my car, this building is going to be here when the man who built it dead. There have been many kings and queens of England. They're all dead. After this one is gone, another one will come. So we don't stay here. We're just trustees. We don't own nothing. Even your children are not yours. If you think I'm lying, your wife is not yours. You die and come back a year later and go slip in your bedroom and see if your wife is by herself. See, you don't own your wife. You don't own. I divorced my wife. You may have read about it. And my 4 children, they call another man daddy now. They don't see me no more. You don't own your children. You don't own your family. So what am I saying? The most important thing about life is what's going to happen when you die. Are you going to go to heaven or hell? And that's eternity. How long is eternity? Let's imagine. Take the Sahara Desert. There's a lot of sand on the Sahara Desert, right? Then imagine that one grain of sand represents 1,000 years. And when you in hell burning, when you die and go to hell, you're going to burn forever and ever, no end. How long is that? Give you an idea how long eternity is. Take the Sahara Desert, and I told you to wait 1,000 years. And every 1,000 years, I want you to pick up a grain of sand until the desert is empty. Okay, wait 1,000 years, pick up. Wait another 1,000 years before you get the next grain. Keep that up until there's no more sand in the desert. Whew, you know how long America's not but 200 years old. We got 800 more years to go before 1,000. So it just scares me to think that I'm going to die one day and go to hell. I'm on an airplane that might blow up. I'm always traveling. And to go to hell and God is going to judge my soul. The police, I might kill people. I might rob people. The authorities might not catch me. The FBI, Scotland Yard might not catch me. But when I die, somebody's watching me and keeping count. And I can't get away. And I'm going to burn forever and ever and ever. I'll go to heaven. So what am I going to do when I'm through fighting? I only have 16 years to be productive. Get myself ready to meet God and go to the best place. Does that make sense? Thank you.
Man, that is I've been around a lot of scholars, Islamic scholars, religious scholars. I have never heard something that profound, that plain spoken. Just with emotion, with character, as Sister Ravina says, with a certain certainty, certainty of manhood, speaking about religion, a certain amount of manhood speaking about religion and preference and choice. And when you watch that, he actually talked to you about the chaos of the world, but gave everybody a solution. He gave everyone a solution. And I'm not saying everybody's solution is the same, but he began to break this thing down. And it's like, that is the thing I worry about so much these days, about these distractions, about all this chaos, is that people don't understand. If you get out of your own way, you can solve a lot of your problems. If you get out of your own way, you can solve a lot of your problems because it's humility. He spoke about that. Humility is, I can understand that I'm part of my problem. I can understand that some of the things I've done, I've put myself in that particular situation. And of those actions, I'm still not in control. So the good actions you're not in control of. The bad actions you're truly not in control of. I can have very, very good intent to do something, be on my way to do it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, or even more, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen the way I want it to happen. And the humility, this whole idea, and I don't know how it worked out. I think this topic with the absence of chaos and Muhammad Ali's birthday. But if you look at a body of work, at a life, number one, his life, number two, his body of work, they're very separate, but they're very connected. They're very separate, they're very connected. Meaning that it worked in this area or this function of society over here a certain way, and then it worked over here in society another type of way. But it still had this main theme of service. So I won't hold everybody up today. I do ask that you make dua for Muhammad Ali. We pray that Allah give him the highest levels of paradise, and we protect his family that are still here. We ask that we all have the dutifulness to be servants as well. Now, I want to close out, but I just want to touch on one thing and then we're out. We have a lot of things going on in this country today. And then we talk about absence of chaos, it's really an absence of logic. In the words of the Richard Pryor special, people have omitted the logic. And they've omitted the logic on a lot of things, but they've also omitted the logic about compassion and mercy. That people are not there for you to abuse, to injure, to oppress. That's not our function. In fact, our function is to remind you of what life looks like when you're not going through that situation. I wanted to show Muhammad Ali talking about politics. We just didn't have enough time, but I think I will bring it back. But we have gone into a week with inauguration, and let's be honest, the United States does not look like the United States. It doesn't sound like the United States. It doesn't feel like the United States. You can call it COVID. You can call it domestic terrorism. You can call it, COVID. You can call it all these things. But somehow, the barometer, if you will, the nature of who we are as people, not as Americans, as people, as someone somehow been knocked off kilter. And we got to figure out how to put it back on kilter. You have to figure out how to balance it. When I do this show, there's a lot of therapeutic things that go on with the show. A, I get to talk to people. B, it helps me with my writing. But C, the connection between all of us, it gives me a little insight about how important a blessing is. How important a blessing is. Because you know what? The absence of chaos, whether it's big or small, brothers and sisters, it's like that little blessing. Think about this. When you were a kid, like I said, I'm going to wrap up, but think about this when you were a kid. You may have ever understood this, but when you slept as a little child, your parents watched you. They watched you. They made sure you were breathing correctly. They made sure you turned the right way. They sat, arms folded, mother's arms folded, father's arms folded, and they made sure that you didn't have to deal with the world. So one that you were asleep, they made sure that you didn't have to deal with the world, that you didn't have to deal with chaos. And as we get older and we deal with our parents, that's our job to make sure that they don't have to deal with chaos. But in between, as Muhammad Ali said, we live a life that has one or two options. We live a life of chaos, or we live a life of purposefulness, being purposeful in the good things and good intentions. Or this other life, this life that we see of deceit, of anger, of hate, of lies, lack of integrity, lack of character. No, and I believe, brothers and sisters, in the months coming, inshallah, that COVID will rectify itself. We'll get a handle on that. Biden will be president, and we'll get some vaccines out and stuff like that. But I'm speaking to the hearts of the individuals. The heart of the individual at some point in time has to heal or it has to cease. It can't do both. We have to figure out, as like-minded individuals, as spiritually connected people, what's important for us. Because I believe if you can take, and this is a different concept. I believe that you can take the absence of chaos and scale it. You can take the absence of chaos and scale it. And you can literally push out chaos if you're creating more and more people, more and more individuals who are not dealing with it. I say, in the Quran, they talk about the concept of deaf, DEAF. They're talking about the concept of deaf. Like some people who are they don't listen, they're deaf. And then on the other part, there's good people who can't hear because they're deaf. And one part, you're not supposed to get the information. Other part, you're not supposed to get bad information. And in that space, brothers and sisters, we have to establish a perimeter and parameter for what's going to be our understanding of absence of chaos. So on that, I'm going to leave you. I hope everybody had a good day. We're heading into yet another week. Let's make dua, folks, because I don't know how this week is going to go. We got inauguration. We got a lot of weird feelings out there. People are not happy. I shouldn't say that. I said people are not happy. Let me go clear. There are a lot of people who aren't happy, but there are a lot of people who aren't happy with themselves and they don't know how to handle it. Thus, you have two populations. Wherever they go, they're going to add chaos to the situation. They willingly look for good situations, happy people to bring this morass on, to put it on other folks, because that's what makes them, I guess, ironically feel better. But that's the game. That's the hustle. So Monday, I'm going to actually talk about the game. Because you have a game going on right now. These politicians, with these domestic terrorists, because I want you to know, when you pull the sheet back, you're going to find that they all in the bed together. All right, everybody. I'm Preacher Mars. That's SOS. Have a great day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey everybody, this is your brother Preacher Moss. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed your Shout Out Show experience. We'll be back with the next Shout Out Show. A simple ask before you go, please help your brother out. Click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from ShOUT. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out ShOUT.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.